Hello and welcome to First Impressions. This is a show where every week my co-host Dash Hooper and I evaluate an album we've never heard before, except for tonight, for me. And after playing it, we take notes, rate it in a variety of categories, and let you know our thoughts. And tonight, we are looking at the soundtrack of the 2007 movie Once, performed by Glen, Hansard, and the Swell Season. And we have a guest tonight. So, Dash, Fred, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
Fantastic, man. I got to rewatch this movie yesterday, and I'm really excited to talk about the soundtrack.
Yeah, we just rewatched it, I guess, 2 nights ago. So same thing. We had to rewatch it. And it was a hard watch because my wife and I are both absolute Glen Hansard fanatics. And it was the first time I played his music since his passing. And it was just like, oh, hit me because I love his music. It's just spoilers that I guess you can already know going in. This is one of my all-time favorite artists. And we're kind of cheating because it's not truly a first impression. It's more... We're doing it for Dash. It's a first impression, but for me, it's just I wanted to cover one of his albums since his passing and kind of play tribute to one of my all-time favorite artists. So yeah, just watching it's like, oh, I miss him. I miss his voice, and it's just crazy to think that he's gone at a young age. But I mean, this month has been brutal. Good Lord, yeah. This month needs to ease the hell up. It's been just one after the next. So. August,
Dolly,
enough.
Tim.
We're done. We're good. Leave us alone, August.
Dolly, Tim, Hayden.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's been a month. So, yeah, let's hope that August is done with us. But yeah, we are going to start as we always do with a little history of the artist and kind of artist and the movie. Because this we could do the album because a lot of these songs are actually on the debut Swell Season album. They were brought in for Once, but when we get into the history of the movie, we'll kind of talk about that. Because I learned some fun facts about the movie that I never knew while doing my research, which is always fun. So my wife was sitting on the couch next to me when I was setting up. I'm like, did you know this? Did you know that? She's like, I had no idea. So some new facts, but we'll wait until we get there. So Glen Hansard was born April 21st, 1970 in Ballium, Dublin, and he became interested in music at a very young age. He left school when he was 13, and he became a street musician, which if you've seen the movie, that's how it kind of opens, is him just being a street musician. And he lived this life for real. So he played on the streets of Dublin, around Grafton Street, and just raised little bits of money through that, but also kind of built his musical identity. They call this busking. So he's out there, he's busking, he's trying to get, coins in the guitar case, and he's just doing everything he can. And at this point, when you're doing that, you don't have microphones, you don't have amps. So he learned how to really project his voice. So, because his goal is, of course, to make some random stranger who's walking by him stop. And he became someone who could really just project his voice. And I saw him live multiple times, and he would always do a song unmiked where he would just be like, all right, turn off the mics, and he's just going to fill the room with his voice. And he could do it, but that's how he was trained. So he had to do it, and you can catch it, and he did it through his shows. And he developed his voice where he could go from a whisper to a roar by doing these things. And while he was there, he became part of this whole busking community that was in Dublin and formed friendships with several of the musicians. And in 1990, he formed his first band, The Frames. And they were bringing these musicians from Dublin's street and alternative rock scenes together. And the band was named from the bicycle frames he kept in his yard because he was a bicycle repairman to raise some more money than the busking could get him. So have either of you listened to anything from the Frames?
This is just even with Glen, this is my first.
All Glen Hansard is new to you.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, they became an important band in Ireland, and they didn't really get any kind of international stardom, and they released a lot of albums. So I think they released 6 albums. One of them, the last being in 2006, which is kind of where the Frames ended and the next band began. So they evolved. They had kind of an alternative rock sound, little folk, little orchestra. They had strings. A lot of what you hear in this soundtrack was with the Frames, and some of the Frames would tour with him throughout the time. So you'd go see Glen Hansard and he'd be touring with the Frames, and it just wouldn't be dubbed a Frames show. So they did record an album with Steve Albini, who comes up a lot in this podcast. So Steve Albini, the producer, who just kind of, he's definitely one of those no fuss producers. Like, I'm not here to tell you, let's do 50 takes. Let's do one, make it perfect. And I'm just going to hang the mics in a crazy way to get the best possible sound. So they developed this reputation as a great live act. And that's kind of the Glen Hansard of it, where he just brings this intensity to every performance he does. And he's just going to scream at the top of his lungs and just bring it, but not like a punk rock scream. As when you hear this album, you can hear him kind of bring those wails into the songs. And the band just never really caught. I'm sure in Ireland they were big, but they didn't get that massive commercial success outside of their home country. So they've been named as huge influences for Damien Rice, Damien Dempsey, Ed Sheeran, Dermot Kennedy. So there's bands that really looked at the Frames as huge influences, but they just never had that big international song. So after the Frames, he began the swell season with Markéta, Irglová, which is the co-star in the movie. So Dash, did you watch the movie, or did you just...
we watch. I gotta wait for Lorena to be done, and we're gonna watch it tonight.
Okay.
She's got Meet the Parents tonight, so we have to wait till she gets home, then because she wants to watch it with me.
Yes, that was a few weeks ago, the Meet the Parents, and that's done for me. But you guys started a little later, which is still too damn early if you ask me. When today was 109,
yeah,
and just like the kids can't go outside, they're miserable, and multiple air conditionings breaking down. So yeah, it's brutality.
Dear Board of Education all across the country, after Labor Day,
please,
after Labor Day,
it's just too much. But
when you guys said Meet the Parents, I'm like, what? Robert De Niro, interesting.
Fucker.
She's a teacher. Yeah.
No, yeah, I picked it up eventually.
Yeah.
I was a little late to the bus station, but I got there.
So back to school night, but yeah. The movie definitely brings more life and depth to these songs. And yeah, it's Markéta Irglová is the co-star in the movie, but they had actually been performing together slightly earlier, and they performed together as the Swell Season, and they released their first album in 2006. And the album actually had several songs that were on the soundtrack, and same versions, even like not even alternate versions. And one of them was Falling Slowly, which became their kind of the launch pad for all of their success. So you have Hansard's weathered voice, Irglová's piano and backing vocals, and it was much different than the Frames. The Frames are more rocky, and they even do a version of Falling Slowly, which none of their songs are hard rock, but it's got more guitar, like an electric guitar in it, less of the strings and everything. So that song was performed multiple different times and then came into the movie. And then of course we get to Once, because they had been recording, and I would have to assume that Markéta was about 16 when they started the Swell Season, which is crazy to think that she was that young when they started, because these songs definitely seem there's what you call people old souls, but she must be an old soul, because these songs she's writing, they're coming from a place that you don't think of a 16-year-old being able to get to. But yeah, she was 17 when they recorded the movie. But let's dig into a little bit of the history of the movie. So John Carney is the director of Once, and John Carney was actually the bass player in the Frames. So he was the bass player in Hansard's band, and he left music to pursue filmmaking, but was always good friends with Glen Hansard. So it's not like they had this breakup, but he had another thought. He wanted to be a filmmaker, but he wanted to make a small contemporary musical. So he wanted to make kind of redefine what a musical was, where it wasn't stop and sing about your feelings and then go back to dialogue. So he wanted to do this non-traditional, non-Hollywood musical, and he wanted it to be about Dublin street musicians. So he reached out to Glen Hansard and wanted to use some of his songs, and was never intending to use him as an actor. So the project was envisioned to have Cillian Murphy as the main star. So he was going to star in the role that Glen Hansard took. And Carney just asked Hansard for stories about busking and the Dublin street life. And a lot of the things that happened, like the stealing of the money in the beginning, and I won't go into many more spoilers, but these are things that Hansard provided as anecdotes so that Carney could incorporate them into the screenplay. But the screenplay is very short. I think they said it's 60 or 70 pages. And he wanted to have multiple Irish musicians bring in songs. And in this point, they brought one other Irish musician in, and that's it. And Hansard's material was so strong, he just thought, this is going to be his soundtrack. And what happened was Cillian Murphy was going to play the male lead, and he was saying, like, even though he was a musician, he's like, I cannot sing these songs. They're above my vocal range. So Murphy left, and that killed the financing because he was the only name involved in the project. So Carney had the screenplay, he had the music, and he had no star, and basically had to ask Hansard, even though Hansard had never properly acted. He was in a movie, but he just played a musician in the movie and was playing guitar. What movie was it? It was The Commitments. So he was in The Commitments, but just as a musician, not actually in a speaking role like this. So he didn't want to act, but he brought him in anyway, and Hansard agreed. And then Irglová came in as well, and neither one had done any kind of speaking, proper acting roles. And that was kind of what he went for, was in this movie to have it feel like just real and raw and not, Hollywood scripted fancy. So when you watch the movie, Dash, you'll definitely see it's got that raw feel. So
I like that because that's how I felt when I talked about Kids not too long ago. The movie, that's what that felt like to me. Even though you had some real actors in there, it still felt raw and like fresh. It wasn't like, it didn't feel scripted. So I like that style. That's a good style.
It's interesting to me that I didn't know that John Carney started out in the band, because he's actually become one of those filmmakers whose name gets me interested in a movie, between Once and Sing Street, now Power Ballad. It looks really interesting. His involvement in a project is enough to pique my interest, and Sing Street's great, and Power Ballad looks interesting. I'm a little weird for it to see him working with Paul Rudd, but I do like the to Dash's point, this is kind of like his Mean Streets or Clerks or any of those kind of guys that kind of make a movie that's kind of uniquely them, and he kind of followed that path, and I like him a lot for it.
Yeah, and it was a super low budget, so there was very little budget put into the movie, and it shows. Like you said, like a Clerks or something like that. It's very raw, and he didn't want it to be this beautiful, picturesque version of Dublin. He wanted it to feel like the streets that these people would be busking on, and it really does. When you watch it, you'll see that. And knowing that Markéta was only 17 is just crazy.
I had no idea until you just said that.
I didn't know. Her voice doesn't even sound that young, and the music.
Yeah. So that's what Carney decided. He said, okay, if we're bringing in Glen Hansard, we're bringing in Markéta, it's gonna be about authenticity and not about conventional acting. And they're basically playing themselves, and they're playing real things that happen, because they did end up in a relationship after the movie. So Yeah, they knew how to create music together, and really the heart and soul of this movie is watching them make the music together. I mean, it's what moves you when you watch them, just kind of working through and building songs in these different settings. It's what really just makes the movie for me. And I'm sure, Dash, when you watch it, you'll see the same thing. You'll see the songs in a new light, is all I can say.
You can show somebody
we have an eager dog. He wants to tell us.
We love it. It's not a show with Fred if we don't get Puppy to have some comments, and I love it.
He's I'm gonna have to disappear because he just dropped his tire down the abyss. So I'll be right back.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll get back into the. All right, go ahead, Dash.
No, I'm excited to see this because again, the music. I'm just picturing, and I kind of did that on purpose. I wanted to listen to the music first to get a vibe.
Yeah,
there's times we've watched the movies and didn't listen to the soundtracks again, but I really and seriously, like you can already picture what's going on with the music, and we'll get more to that in a minute. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited about seeing the movie tonight.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. I just rewatched it. Like I said, it just made me sad knowing that we lost him. It's heartbreak. But basically, the movie, they don't have names. It's the guy and the girl, and the guy can't explain his heartbreak that he's going through, so he sings it. The girl helps add more to these songs, which is what they did in real life. And music is the language of the movie, and as you've heard from the soundtrack, great music. So I mean, I'm not spoiling to say how much I'll gush over Glen Hansard. So yeah, it was a very small budget. It was filmed in 17 days, small crew, natural locations, so there wasn't fancy lighting in it. There were scenes that were filmed in some of his friends' homes. There were scenes that were filmed in Glen Hansard's apartment. And yeah, they just pieced it together on this shoestring budget, because when Cillian Murphy left, they just gutted the budget. So it doesn't look like an expensive movie, but I think that's its charm. When Fred's comparison to Clerks is perfect, because it's just, Clerks is raw, and that's what makes it so good.
That's another good one to use.
Yeah.
Clerks,
Yeah, so the movie got very strong reviews. It was, I think it's, like 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, so very strong. The soundtrack also got good reviews, but not as strong as the movie. And it was hard to find reviews for just the soundtrack. That was the hard thing. I was digging.
Pitchfork one.
Yeah, Pitchfork hasn't done it. I think Pitchfork did, but Pitchfork's removed a lot of their reviews. So you got to go into the Wayback Machine to even find any of these old Pitchfork reviews, because they have one Swell Season album, and it's on the pay to play or the pay to watch platform. So I don't even know what they said about it. Maybe they liked it, maybe they didn't, but you have to pay to even see the score.
This is one of those movies, like, I can understand it, like, not being your thing, whether it's like musicals or something like that and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, if you're like a music person and you watch this movie and you're like pitchforking it or being cynical about it, like, it's like one of those movies. Like, how do you have anything bad to say? Even like, I mean, there are a few technical warts that there's the one scene in particular where, like, Falling Slowly, like I wish that was filmed a little better and a little bit more, but other than that, like, it's just got such a good soul to it. Like, it's hard to dislike, I think. I hope. I don't know.
Yeah. So Once ended up winning the Academy Award for Falling Slowly. So Falling Slowly won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. And I guess there was a debate if the Oscars were going to even let it compete as an original song, because of the fact that it had been recorded times before. But I guess because of the way it's presented in the movie, they decided to let it enter, and it won Best Original Song at the 80th Academy Awards in 2008. And
as long as it's never been utilized in another movie.
Yeah, I'm sure they had to go through the scrub through the rules, but they decided to let it go.
And I remember that being a really nice moment too. Like
their acceptance speech was really cool. You could tell that they were just genuinely moved and blown away.
And like as a fan, I was invested in them getting up on that stage.
Mhm.
And when they did,
Exactly.
like you said, they were really warm and cool about it. It was a nice moment.
Yeah, it was. I remember it still. It was just
Same.
such a beautiful moment, because once you see that movie, because I saw it in 2007. I mean, you fall in love with them, with their songs, and you just root so hard for them. So when they got up there and they won, it was just amazing. And they performed first, so the performance was great, and then watching them accept was even better.
Unfortunately, all through 2000s, I was never home in the States, so I don't know. That's probably another reason I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Or hear it.
That makes sense. So yeah, they will go back to the history.
They don't do a lot of musicals, like, you know, when you're deployed. They don't play a lot.
Oh, you know what we do? Well, I'm a musical fan, so I.
Am I. Yeah.
I take my DVD collection with me.
Mm-hmm.
I will take all my musicals, and we'll have movie nights in tent. We know where we set up. We're in the tents, and we set up movie nights, so we'll watch them. But this was out so we didn't get first run movies over there because we're sitting in the middle of BFE Iraq, so we're not getting first run movies. But so yeah, for the most part, anything like even the 90s to almost all the 2000s, I don't know a whole lot about music wise. That's why I love that Ed and I are doing this, because I'm learning a whole lot of new music from that time frame, because I was deployed almost. I spent more time overseas than I did here in stateside 90s and 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
How many years altogether? Real quick. I'm sorry.
I did 23 years total military time.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know it was that extensive. Jeez.
Yeah. So we're gonna jump back to the history of the artist, because we've talked about how Once is in there. So after Once, Swell Season was big, so they were touring, and they released their second album in 2009, which was Strict Joy. And then they were actually dating, as I said earlier, and when they broke up, it kind of killed the Swell Season for quite some time. So they broke up, and in 2011, they disappeared. And then Once in 2012 got made into a Broadway musical, and it's won 8 Tony Awards. So I've never seen it. I don't know much about it, but I know it is a big musical, and it probably made Carney and Glen Hansard and Markéta a lot of money, because they had to use those songs on the Broadway, and it's done very well. So if either of you seen the Broadway, we've heard the songs, because Glen Hansard, they're the same songs, but have you seen the Broadway at all?
I remember taking trains into the city and seeing posters up for it and wanting to see it so bad and just never pulling the trigger. No, I didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, same. I haven't. It's one of those ones that if I hit New York, I'll see it, because I don't know if it's toured to LA. Maybe it has. I'm not sure. But we try to keep an eye on what hits LA as far as the musicals. But yeah, in 2012 he didn't work with the Frames anymore. The Swell Season was kind of done because of the breakup, and he started releasing solo albums, and released 5 different solo albums between 2012 and 2023. All well worth listening to. I've listened to them all, and yeah, they're all great. And in 2025, Hansard and Irglová actually reunited and created one final Swell Season album, which was their first one in 15 years. They toured together again, so they kind of buried the hatchet, because I think both of them had moved on. Like, Glen was remarried, he had a child, Markéta the same, so they weren't worried so much about the breakup and being unable to be together because of that. So they were able to do, I think they did 2 tours for the album, and then of course he passed away, so they weren't able to continue it, but they buried the hatchet and got back on stage and made music again, which is always a beautiful thing.
Does she have children with him?
No. He has 1 kid, and it was with his current wife, and his kid is very young, like under 5. I don't know exactly.
Oh wow.
So
I was just looking her up and said she had 3 kids, so I just wondered if they did have children.
Yeah, none of them together. He only has the one. So yeah, I think what it was they both kind of realized we've moved on. We're happy. Why not get back together and make music again? Because that they're not worried about we broke up. Because even the second album, you can hear there's a lot of discord between them, and then they broke up shortly after it. So it wasn't that surprising. They toured a little bit through the breakup, and I don't think it was as nasty as like Kim Gordon and Thurston Moore. Like, we're not going to be seeing a Sonic Youth reunion because that's an ugly breakup.
We will never see a Sonic Youth reunion. Yeah. Ever.
Yeah, because he cheated on her, and she's definitely bitter. She wrote in her book, you can see it's still very bad blood.
Yeah.
So we are not going to see a Sonic Youth reunion, and it's a shame, but because right now 90s are so hot, and they could probably do a pretty large scale tour, and that's not going to happen. So it's one of those things. My daughter is kind of digging through my CDs and has been digging through the Sonic Youth one. She's like, it kills me that they'll never play. It's like, yeah, you got no chance on that one. And you could see Thurston Moore solo, you could see Kim Gordon solo, but it's not going to be Sonic Youth.
Nope, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Hansard passed away on July 29th. We're going to call that another August one because it's practically August. At age 56, and he had a motorcycle accident. He had a motorcycle accident in Dublin, and that's the end of everything, which is so sad. That was not a lot of, you hear these losses, and you're sad, but this one I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm not going to be able to see him anymore. So it's truly heartbroken, especially with his young child. It's just, oh my gosh. When I was seeing them, the last time I saw them was at the Greek Theater in LA, and he was talking about, I'm never going to be playing a show on this date again. I told my manager, because this is my son's birthday and I don't want to be playing on his birthday. And it was talking about that. And I'm thinking, now he won't have that chance. And he wrote a song to his son that he played to say, I'm not here with you, but I'm always with you, and things like that. And he wrote that song because he missed the birthday. And now it's going to hit in a whole different way when his son listens to it as he's older. And it's just, my heart breaks.
Somebody said something today that really sticks with me now. It was just because we're talking about it with Dolly and Tim, and they're like, they'll be forever immortalized in their movies.
Yeah.
And we could say the same thing about Glen now. He's forever going to be immortalized with his albums.
Yeah, with his catalog. It's a vast catalog.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. You think about it that way, he's never gone.
Yeah, 6 Frames albums, 5 solo albums, and I guess you can call it 3 because really the one soundtrack is a Swell Season album. So 3 Swell Season albums. So it's a deep catalog, and you'll always have that, but it's crazy because his son is so young and never really got the chance to know him, because at that age he's going to have fragments of memories, and that's all that's going to exist. So very sad to think, but we're here, we're paying homage to the great man and his career. So let's start off with our history. So Dash, I guess this one's an easy one. What's your history with Glen Hansard?
You talked about the accident, and then you said we're going to jump into this album. So I got all of it lined up, ready to go. I got all of them in the queue, if you will. Like I said, we're going to watch the movie tonight. So my history with Glen is now, and I'm, it'll be no secret. I am glad that you introduced me to this album and Glen, because man, beautiful music is all I will say. And I can't wait for us to dive deeper into this one.
Yes. Well, so what about you, Fred?
My experience with this goes back a ways. I was watching Ebert. You guys know I'm a big movie nerd, and I was watching Ebert and Roper, as I was prone to do. And I remember they did a quick after the break, and they played a small clip from Falling Slowly, and just the two of them harmonizing together, and I was like, all right, I'm sold. Without spoiling the movie, just when I saw it, it I mean, it resonated with me for the reasons we talked about, right? The idea of like an artist, doing a small personal thing and putting themselves on a plate. It's always something that I wanted to do. And the music resonated with me. I mean, I went out and got the soundtrack and like committed a lot of these songs to memory right away. And it's a movie that's been with me, for 20 years now. It's crazy to say.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
It's also like, I'm really glad that you brought this up because it's not a movie that, you watch very often and stuff because the music is like really, personal and the themes of the movie are really, personal and touching and like prescient to an artist and stuff, but like, you're not really in the, you're not, and at least me, you're not really in the mood for it the way you might be like, like Rocky Horror Picture Show, a certain season time of the year or something, or that kind of music, it might be punchier and you might be in the mood for it. So Once is like a subtler one. And it's usually, it's probably the kind of thing that you might want to, me, a single guy, less likely to watch by myself, but more likely to share with somebody else, that I got along with and all. But it was nice to have a good reason to go back to it and, be reminded of it. Hearing your intro, it was really nice to hear that even though they broke up, that they kind of reunited before the end. And, they got that last like little run out. And it's great. Like I have nothing but fond memories of the movie and like the people involved like that. Yeah. Going back to like even there, I remember even standing out there because again, if I'm not mistaken, it was probably like a Ricky Gervais year of hosting the Golden Globes or the Oscars or one of those things. I remember like and even though I like you guys know me, I like my shitty humor sometimes, but I even remember just watching their acceptance speech and being like, that's how you conduct yourself. Like that's really cool and classy. That's the way to do it. So just awesome. It's a good movie. Seems to be made by really good people, and it's just got a lot of really goodwill with me. A lot of goodwill with me. So.
Yeah, you must have Irish in you.
I'm told I have a lot of things, but to be fair, like my grandmother used to just tell me that like anytime I was interested in anything, that I had their blood in me. Like I remember when I was young, I really liked the movie Dances with Wolves, and there was a wrestler Tatanka that I was a fan of, and then one day all of a sudden, like, guess what? We're part Native American too. So so I got all kinds of blood. Who knows what?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, and he was. I mean, Glen Hansard, we didn't really talk about, but he was very, very charitable. He did a lot of charities for homeless in Ireland, did benefit concerts, and did a lot to try to help with people that were having housing issues in Ireland. So he gave back to the community, and it's just one of those things where you're just like, someone like that. It's like, why'd you have to go early? But
and John Carney too has a lot of really good like he's a really good filmmaker for like got like us, like artist types and stuff. Yeah. Like this Sing Street, like a lot of his movies end with a really optimistic like shoot your shot, make your art, tell your story type of mentality. And it's really just good for us. So good for people. Yeah. Good for the soul.
Exactly. So I think I'm probably in the same place as Fred with my history. It started with, I watched Ebert and Roper every week. Like I wouldn't miss it when it was Siskel and Ebert. I watched it and I was the only one in the house. My dad's like, oh, those are just movie snobs. They don't like good movies. They only like the shitty movies. And my dad would try to lecture me like, you watch, they're not going to like, Independence Day or, fill in the blank summer blockbuster. But I loved watching them. I loved watching them debate when they didn't agree. And I loved watching them when they both loved something, just gush over it. And Roper was a good fill-in. He did a good job kind of filling that seat. And it was the same thing. I saw it. And that's when my wife and I would just be like, all right, I think it came out right before my first daughter was born. So we were like, hey, let's go see this one. We got to go check it out. And we watched it, sat through the entire credits because they were playing other songs. I'm like, I don't want it to end. I just want to keep hearing this music. So that was back in the day where we would go to the movie theater, and it was in this big mall. And in the mall was a Virgin Megastore. So we walked right over to that Virgin Megastore and snatched up that CD and was hooked. We were both hooked. So it was like, oh my gosh, let's see when they're touring, and bought tickets to see them down in San Diego. And they played this, outdoor amphitheater under a full moon. And I'm just like, there is no more perfect setting to hear this music than right here, right now. And then I was a fan for life. Anytime his name came up on the touring, I would always make sure I was there, saw him in smaller places, bigger places, saw their big sold out show at the Hollywood Bowl, and just, yeah, I was so happy when they got back together because my wife and I agreed. Glen Hansard was amazing, but when Glen and Markéta were on the stage, it was a whole different kind of magic. And I don't know if you've heard this song, The Moon, but that is my all-time favorite Glen Hansard / Swell Season song. And they opened with that at the San Diego show, just under a full moon. And I just, oh gosh, I'm gonna break down just thinking about it. It was so friggin' beautiful and just the greatest moment. And from that moment, like, I was already a fan, but I was just like, I will do everything in my power to see every time this man performs for the rest of my life. And yeah, I saw, as much as I could, and just, it's still never enough. So yeah, listen to that song, The Moon. It's from the first Swell Season album that predates this one by a little bit. And it's just magnificent. The greatest.
I'll tell you this, if it wasn't for Roger Ebert and them and Siskel and Ebert and Roper, I wouldn't be the cinephile I am today. I mean, seriously.
Oh yeah, they're the greatest. I miss Ebert as well, because he was a true film critic, and even when he lost his voice with the cancer, he was still writing amazing reviews for movies. He was still out there, and film criticism since he's been gone has never been the same.
No.
It's pissy little internet trolls now have a voice, and they don't deserve it.
Yeah,
there's not even there's no good critics anymore. I don't trust any of the Rotten Tomato people. Even from what is it? It's Ebert and Roper, or is it just Ebert now? I can't. I know
the site still exists, but it's not the same.
But even some of theirs is. But every Saturday, it was at the movies was on, and. I mean, I got excited about cartoons, but I was just as even excited.
Oh, I loved it
when they came on, and you could just, and it's the reason I am a cinephile. Why I love movies is because of them.
This is one of the coolest movies that I got from that too. By the way, I mean, and a history of checking out weird indie, offbeat stuff. Like, this is one of my two or three favorites that I picked up from the show. It's really an awesome movie.
Ebert loved it. I mean, he just gushed over, and I think Roper did too. I think they both just went so positive, and like you said, just that little snippet of the song is just like, I'm intrigued. I need more, and that's the one good thing about having this kind of megaplex at the mall. It's it's going to play all the big movies, of course, but since it has 30 screens, you're going to see those little ones. They may only give it one screen with one showing, but that's all right. I'll go at 9:00. I don't care, and that's how I did it. It's like, it's playing there. We have to go.
That's where you see the best indie movies. I kid you not.
And it and it made you feel like part of like a subculture and stuff, because I mean, before the internet, in the early 2000s, or before the internet became so, before we were able to connect so quickly, over our shared interests and stuff, like Ebert and Roper was my fix. Like, they were the guys that were telling me where they are, and when I would go watch that movie, it's a shame because you didn't have people to have a dialogue with, but in your head you're like, those were the guys that were I don't want to say your friends because that makes me sound really pathetic, but
they did feel like that, because you feel like, oh my gosh, I want to tell them about this. I just watched that movie and they were right. And you feel like you could dialogue, because you don't I didn't have a lot of friends who would see that. They'd go see the blockbusters, and that's fine, because I enjoy a good blockbuster. I'm not one of those film snobs that I can't enjoy the Avengers because I enjoy a good indie flick, but they're the reason I would have went to go find Clerks or something.
I would argue with them in my head, because you know what I'm saying? Yeah, all right, I agree with you. Or, nope, you were wrong about this. I really love, so yes.
Yeah.
So yes, they are friends in that way. I don't disparage you saying that, because I mean, in a way, you're right.
Yeah, and I guess for someone who is a cinephile, and I would love, even from the time I was younger, I would seek out their movies. Of course, I'd have to wait till they were playing on HBO most of the time, because I lived in a town. We had at that time there was one theater that was like a 6-screen theater, and they were not going to get a movie like once. they were getting Jurassic Park. They
Mhm.
weren't wasting their time with Clerks or Once or any of those kind of movies because it was just too small. But then when they built these giant mall cineplexes, they could give 1 or 2 screens to the little guy. And that's where I saw Memento. That's how I discovered that.
Memento was one.
I'm trying to tell people, I'm telling my coworkers, like, oh my gosh, you have to see this movie. Like, oh, well, no, we don't really watch those kind of movies. And that's my life. Like, having coworkers that don't want to hear anything about the music that I'm freaking out over or the movies that I was freaking out over, because I really didn't have a coworker or a friend that wants to hear about this really good indie band. Like, holy shit, I just discovered this band at the drive-in. You have to hear them. Like, we don't want to hear about your damn music, dude. Just leave it alone.
And the thing that I loved about it is like those are the ones that I remember all these years later, you know, like, you saw the big blockbuster things and they're fine and whatever. But like, I remember like, again, just a small detour or whatever, but like Hard Candy was one that I'd heard them bring up and I never I sought it out, and I remember bringing my brother to it, not exactly knowing what to expect, and that like was the joy of it, because it was one of the tensest, most like nail biting, like how far are they going to go with this premise, and I to Dash's point, I miss that, like Ebert and Roper gave me that. There used to be a lot of really good movie content, like for a horror fan that would direct me into like the international stuff that was big, and nowadays it's really hard because like even when you get buzzy stuff, sometimes the buzzy stuff kind of fails to deliver. So I missed that void of Ebert and Roper. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, I agree. And there's so many movies that I would have never watched if it weren't for them. Pulp Fiction, that's my all-time favorite, and it was their review that made me want to go see it. It became buzzy, but it was them talking about it. I'm like, I have to go see this movie. And that again, pre-kids, I tell my wife, because we've been together for a million years. So it was like, honey, we got to go see this movie, Pulp Fiction. What's it about? I said, don't worry about it. It's going to be good. And it was one of those things where she trusted me. She was always down for the ride. And she's still down for the music discovery ride, because we'll be driving in the car. She's like, what is this? How did I not hear this one? I'm like, I played on my run. So she's down for the ride. But it's nice that, I guess that's where Dash comes in. Like, all right, Dash, we're going to discover this stuff, because it's hard to find someone who will be open-minded and excited about something they've never heard of. And Fred, you've joined us for some obscure stuff, and you're always down as well. So I always like that.
That's the best part about this show. Like I said, is getting to open myself up to all the albums I probably would have walked right by in the store, because it's just, again, just being in Oklahoma, you're kind of tunnel visioned on your country music or your top 40 rock and roll. That's it, because it's pretty much, now we've got, now you're getting more and more stations that are versatile but I mean, again, and again, it's not for lack of not, or disliking them. It's just lack of knowing they existed at a time. Yeah,
that makes it
hard. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
All right, so we have spent a lot of time, so let's dig in now. What are your overall thoughts on this one, Dash?
Oh, I could listen to this album over and over and over and over and never get tired of it. I'm going to disagree with one of the statements that they said it was just there was no versatility in it. It was just all one of the reviews was there's no versatility. I don't care about that for this album. Yeah, because like I was telling you, you can sit there and it opened up good and it closed good, and you've got great music all through the middle. And I think you could relate. You could just relate to a lot of the music and the lyrics in this. And I just, there's Uncle Swifty.
Yeah, Uncle Swifty, Roadhouse Music Academy Award. All right.
Anyways, yeah, I mean,
I don't want to ask which Roadhouse.
Yeah, the remake. That's the one Swifty.
I hope he's not talking about the remake. Good Lord. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. There was no point, there was no time during the album where I was like, hurry up and get through the song. Mm-hmm. You were just sitting there and just feeling the vibe of every song. And so I loved it. I mean, I wouldn't change a thing about it. I think it's arranged. I mean, obviously it's arranged for the movie, but even if it wasn't, I think it would have been arranged the same way because it just tells a story.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you at the beginning, I haven't seen the movie, but you can sit there and visualize. At least in my head, I'm visualizing what's going on through each song without seeing the movie. So which I'm excited to do afterwards.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right. So what about you, Fred?
Well, I watched the movie yesterday, but I listened to like the soundtrack today and kind of distance it from the movie and the story and the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
And the neat thing was like there are lyrics in this that I kind of glom onto, and that resonated with me 20 years ago. God, I keep saying that because it's true, unfortunately. But lyrics that like resonated with me 20 years ago that resonate with me now just as hard, but for completely different context and reasons.
Yeah.
And it's like that's one of the nice things. While we're talking about friends that aren't friends. I always talk about movies, as friends in a way, because like you're able to go back and, see how you've grown by comparing yourself to how that movie makes you feel now versus then. Like, are you the same person? Do you still see things the same way? And so forth and all. Yeah. And the soundtrack today is, just as prescient, or I guess if I'm using that right, to me.
Yeah.
But the thing that I like about it, and it's kind of it just kind of like, I don't know, I think it like reflects my journey in a way as I in the last 20 years, a lot of those things that like I might have listened to in my 20s and thought of in terms of like very narrowly like a particular girl or a particular relationship or a particular setup. I'm able to like kind of like take a step back and look at like my life or like people's lives and or what I'm doing with my life. It's just maybe I don't know if I'm saying this, articulating this just right, but I guess what I'm saying is like there's like a new context that I'm able to like revisit it with, and it's still just as like awesome and beautiful a soundtrack in a movie to me now as it was all those years ago. If anything, more so.
Here.
And some things don't age well. This does. It still hits the same place. So yeah, for me, I tried to pretend like I was looking at the album with fresh eyes, and it was impossible because I know these songs too well. They've grown to be a part of you when you just know them so well, and they're like they exist within your being. So yeah, there's always a Glen Hansard song somewhere swelling around in my head, and these are the ones that they started their journey. I journeyed into his music because of these songs, and it's just this. Even when you look at it and they're too ingrained in you, you can still see it's just a beautiful journey through his heartbreak. And with bringing in Markéta, where he with the Frames, it was a different vibe. It was more trying to be an alternative rock band, and bringing in Markéta with just her pianos backing and bringing in these strings, it just brings this beauty to the songs that wouldn't exist. The two of them need to make these together. And yeah, I'll miss his voice. I'm going to miss his damn voice. Stupid August. We're calling it August because it was close enough.
Yeah, it was right at the end of
July,
late July.
Yeah. July 29th. So yes, enough July / August, because man, it's been the people I know, the people real life ones that are from family, all the ones that celebrities I love. So enough, knock it off. We've had enough. It's over. We're gonna have like happy. Yeah, it's happy rest of the month and the rest of the year. Let's just get through. All right, so now we will dig into best songs. So, Dash, what's one that stood out to you?
I know
you knew none of them. This has got to be. That's got to be a beautiful experience.
It was. I know Falling Slowly is probably like the number one everybody loves.
Yeah.
I love Lies. I love Lies and I love Leave.
Oh yeah.
Lies and Leave are my two favorite songs. I probably put Lies on repeat about 10 times just because the lyrics are fantastic and just the melody and just the vibe that I got from listening to it the entire time. That one. Falling Slowly was a good one. When Your Mind's Made Up, another good one. If You Want Me, I mean, they're all like if I was rating them, they're all like 5 stars, like five or 4.5, 5 stars. So but Lies is probably my number one, followed by Leave, and then Falling Slowly. Those are my top 3.
Yes. Lies is my number 2 all-time Glen Hansard Markéta song. Number 1, yeah, that's The Moon. That will, I guess I know now it won't be dethroned.
Yeah.
But you got to seek that one out. So damn good. Play it on a full moon night and just soak it in. All right, so Fred, what are some of the songs that stood out to you on this one? Which is hard again because you've been with it for so many years, like I have.
Yeah, obviously I have to say Falling Slowly. That's the one that brought me in. And that's like, again, like if you were to like distill the piece down, you can like, you can show somebody that scene, I mean, that's what the movie's about, is like these two people, at least to me, randomly, or, completely unlikely to, and out of that, they're able to like make beautiful art and, and harmonize together. And it's kind of, I don't mean to like talk about myself, but in a way, like it's, somehow I feel about like some of the artists I've worked with, Stan particularly and stuff. Like when you find people that you click with, as an artist, it's rare. And, in a movie to see that like happening in real time is like really, it's like really a beautiful thing. It almost reminds me of like getting really nerdy here, but like I remember like when they would talk about like the making of Lord of the Rings, right? And how that was like a 10-year process. Yeah. And they said like, because they said that there were a lot of like horrible statistics of people that either like relationships that were like torn apart or people that got together over the course of the movie and then fell apart after it was done. And they said like that's kind of the nature of like the creative industry, is like you're kind of journeyman, and then you like link up on a job or whatever, and you form these intense relationships with people where like you work together, and if you get married, I go to your wedding, and if I have a kid, you come see my kid, and then life takes us in other directions and stuff. But what you have left behind is the art, and that's kind of what the movie is to me. It's like this movie, it's the story, it's these people that are probably never going to meet each other again, but like for a moment they kind of shared themselves with each other, and I don't want to give away the ending. So anyway, that song, and like there's nothing like when you see like two people performing a number together that just are meant to be together, and that number for that little moment in time, like it's beautiful and perfect. All the way down as well. And I'm gonna lump two together now, All the Way Down, and say it to me now, because I just feel his pain in those the most. It's like you were talking about like the way that he expresses, and like I almost stopped you when you were talking about the way he performed, and when he would do the acoustic, because I was like, how big a room? Because I can imagine him feeling like an amphitheater with that voice. Like he did.
The San Diego one holds like 3,000 people. Yeah. And he turned off the mic for one song and could fill that place. I mean, granted, I had a good seat, so I could hear him, but I'm thinking everyone in that amphitheater. And he did it at the Hollywood Bowl. So, I mean, he's got a big voice, and it can fill a large place. And just, oh, man, it's just, chills just thinking about it. Damn it. It makes me so sad to think that I won't see that again. I mean, luckily, we saw him last year. My wife and I saw them on what will be the final tour, so I'm fortunate to say that.
And that's when I think he's the best, and that's when I think the soundtrack is the best, when it's just like him, his guitar and his voice, or like him, his guitar and his voice, her piano and her voice. Like there are a couple tracks where they put like some like synthesizer in, and it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. It almost feels like somebody pressed bossa nova on an old keyboard and then kind of played over it. And I don't like that. I like it better when it's just them being raw, because that's where I think their strength is. But those three for me, and then there's a couple others that I have up around 4 and 4 stars, like Once, Leave, Lies. I even though it's so stupid and it's like a nothing thing, but it makes me smile. I like Broken Hearted, Hoover, Fixer, Sucker
funny,
Guy.
That's a good one.
It's funny. It's like his take on a sad country guy, and it just it works. I mean,
like an Irish
not seeing the movie, the without the movie, the context is weirder, but it still works. But in the movie, you see exactly how it came to be that song. But it's
still good though. I mean, even with no context, for me, it even for me not seeing the movie, it's still funny and it's still good. And it fits. I can't explain why it fits. It just fits the album. And and you're, again, like I said, at no point are you going, well, where did that come from? You're like, oh nope, I bet there's, because I knew, like I said, I knew it was a movie, so I'm going, oh, there's going to be something when I watch it later, I'll understand it. But it was still good. You're just like, oh yes, he's just, I can sit there, I can sit here and see him sitting beside me with a cowboy hat on while he's doing that. And I love it.
He adds that twang that like he thinks we sound like. Like I get people all the time that like they're like when I tell them I'm from Jersey, they do a Jersey accent to me, and it's way more hyper accentuated than I'm used to, and I'm like, that's not what we sound like. That's how like country music sounds to an Irishman, and I love it.
Yeah, exactly. That's his feel about that.
So you say orange, don't you? You say orange,
I
you say woulda.
I don't say those words at all anymore.
Yeah, they're gone.
Lorena's from Jersey.
Oh, so really?
Yeah, she's from Jersey. So I get orange, and woulda,
yeah, orange.
And
what do you say? Please say the color.
Orange.
Orange. Yeah.
Orange. And water.
Water.
Woulda. You want some water ice? Listen, I wouldn't change her for nothing. It's perfect.
Of course. All right. So I guess I'll dig into my favorites. I had Falling Slowly because, I mean, it's what brought me there. Yeah. And it's, I've actually heard all the different versions. The Swell Season album one is the same, but it is such a beautiful blend of Glen and Markéta's voices. And, yeah, it just, when you see it in the movie, it's perfect. And when you just hear it, what she adds, and that's why it was never, during the years where they weren't really on speaking terms, it was never the 100% of the magic. You got 95 because Glen on his own with him and just an acoustic guitar, because I saw him several times where it was literally just him and a guitar on that stage, no backing band, and there's a magic to that can't be beat. But when him and Markéta are harmonizing, it's just, oh gosh, I can't even describe how amazing it is. So yeah, I can't judge it. I've heard it too many times, but it still slaps, as the kids say. So
is that what the kids are saying these days?
I think they're going to be like, shut up, boomer. But
yeah, the kids are like, that one soundtrack, man, it slaps.
Yeah. You're punk vibe, dude. Stop it. All right. So yeah, I love When Your Mind's Made Up, and especially in the context of the movie. When you see the movie, you'll see it, but it's just kind of how it builds, and how when he's at that yell where he's just pouring his guts out in this song, there's nothing better when he hits that full thing, and knowing that he kind of had to build that by being a street performer. Like, I'm going to get your damn attention. You're not walking by. And if I had some money, I'd be tossing it in the guitar case myself, because it's just, you can't beat that. And he did that up until the point that he passed away. He would just randomly go back on the streets and play songs. And you get people filming him like, holy shit, Glen Hansard's just out there, playing a song on the street with his guitar. So I think it's one of those things that it never died in him. Like, just the thing of, I just want to get out there and play. And even the night he died, he was at a pub just playing songs with him and his guitar. So
I love that I did the show just that I got that insight today, because like it never occurred to me that like that was how he honed his voice, like attracting people in that way. And it's just a really cool note. Like, I never would have looked. I look at the movie a little differently now. It's pretty.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite YouTube rabbit holes now, is watching finding street performers that do cover songs, and you will find some amazing. They're playing. I can't think of the name of this girl. She I think she's in Ireland as well.
Yeah,
but she's all the time just singing, and it's just great covers. She's got a beautiful. They did Queen the other day.
Okay,
her and another they did Bohemian Rhapsody, and just on an acoustic guitar. No, it was beautiful. But yeah, that's one of my rabbit holes lately, is just watching street performers, and it's amazing that the talent that we miss.
Yeah.
And don't see
out there. They're just out there playing, and it's crazy. And he did that. Like I said, he was always one to do it. So you can go down a rabbit hole of just Glen Hansard doing street performances, because he would always just kind of pull one out. Just, all right, I'm going to go play a quick set on the streets right now. And, it's, if you're in Ireland, especially, he had to be like top tier level celebrity out there, and he just would do it. So I love that it never left him. That busking was something that was in him, and he wasn't going to go away from it. So I was with Dash. I had Lies. That one is my second favorite song by them, and it's the one that, you know, the whole soundtrack, but this one was in particular was just like, oh damn, I need this song. It is so good. And yeah, I love the way his voice builds, and I love that the way the strings seem to be weeping. It's like, all right, those strings are crying along with them. So yeah, I love it.
It immediately I mean, from the moment that song starts rolling, it hits you, it grabs you, and I'm telling you, if you don't at least like that song, there is something wrong with you, ladies and gentlemen, because
I don't get it. It's
a beautiful song. It is. Yes. It's really good.
So yeah, then I had Leave. I love that. It's a simple voice and an acoustic guitar, and it's just, I said, a voice and acoustic guitar that splinters your soul. So it's just, and the guitar that you see him playing with in the movie was his go-to guitar. It's a broken acoustic guitar with a hole in it, and every show I ever saw him play, he was using that guitar. And I guess at one point the guitar actually broke, and he had to have it kind of repaired because he was never going to fix the hole. But he had it repaired so that it was actually in one piece again. So I remember seeing him, and he was talking about how he had to get the guitar repaired because playing a show without it seemed impossible. So you see him playing with it in the movie, and it is the real deal. That is the guitar that he busked with, and the guitar that he played and toured with up until the very end.
It's the simplicity of the song. There's no other way to explain it. It's the simplicity of the raw emotion of the song, and that's why Leave is really good, man. Really good. I agree.
I could name all the songs. I think I'm with Fred. I'm not. There's one that I could potentially say skip, and I think we'll be on the same page with that. I don't know if I would go skip, but it's definitely, in my opinion, the weakest link. But we'll get there in the category. So let's dig into best lyrics. So Dash, what are some lyrics that stood out to you on this one?
Yes.
Yes. The album. Them.
I can't wait forever is all that you said before you stood up, but you won't disappoint me. I can do that myself. Oh my, that we just talked about Leave, man. That is such a strong opening, and that immediate, again, it's you're not getting orchestras and all different instruments. You're getting an acoustic guitar with a raw voice with that opening line, and it just takes, again, I could think it's country as well. You know what I mean? It's just it doesn't have the country twang, but it could be a country song.
Oh, it could be covered by a good country artist so easily.
And you're just, I mean, this is an album, like I close my eyes on a lot of them, but this is the album where you can sit there and close your eyes because I'm trying to envision what's going on in the movie because I haven't seen it yet. But you're just, I loved it. That was a great line. There's just, I mean, like I said, when you ask what best lyrics are,
it's hard on this one because there's two damn. I remember in the Modest Mouse album we were struggling more to find some lyrics, and or like the Meat Puppets. Like, all right, we enjoyed the album, but digging out standout lyrics was a lot more difficult. Like, you can love an album and know that lyrically it's not moving you, or this one it's just like go through the songs and just drop a chorus or a verse, and it's going to be standout. So what stood out to you, Fred? What's one that got you on this one?
I mean, this is the nicest way. To hell with both of you guys. I'm going to claim some Falling Slowly lyrics because I know everybody else will too. Everybody else will too, and I'm just
that's why we're going to go. You get one. We do one song, then we go to the next person because we're going to probably overlap. It's inevitable. So, all right, let's hear it.
I'm going to take some of my favorite lyrics from any song, and that's "You've suffered enough and warred with yourself. It is time that you've won." Just the way he phrases that and sings that. There's so much context for that. I can hear like I mean. I in my notes I made, and I'm not trying to, but like I was like, you can put that on a tombstone and it would kill. And I mean, you really would. It to me, you know, again, now that I've been through like, some stuff in my life, it sounds to me like, like an addict finding, some kind of peace. And it just, you can feel somebody going through pain, having like a weight being lifted off their back with that, with those lyrics. And the way he sings it, it sounds like an authoritative figure kind of coming down. Like, again, the angel feels like somebody coming down and giving somebody mercy. Like, enough's enough. Like, you deserve this break and I'm going to give it to you. It's been that has been with me since I first heard that song. And again, it like a line in a movie, the delivery of it and the way he sings it sends it home for me. So I'm sure you guys all had that one too, but I
had that, and that's why we're going one each, because we're gonna overlap. I had lyrics from that one as well, where the moods that take me and moods that take me and erase me, and I'm painted black. It's just you can see just he's broken, but he's not giving up on this one. So that I had lyrics from that one. I had the ones you said, but that's why we got to go, because we'll end up just all of us taking the lyrics from each other. All right, so Dash, what else stood out to you on this?
I got one. It's the chorus. The chorus and lies, the little cracks they escalated, and before we knew it, it was too late for making circles and telling lies. I mean, if that's not life, I don't know what life is.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about an epitaph on a tombstone. That might be mine. I know it's. I mean, I put that's just like I said. I put that's real life. Like I don't know any other way to explain it, and I don't know what they were going through, or when he, why they wrote these lyrics, or what was going through their head. But that's deep, and it's it's deep. I mean, that whole song "Lies" is deep, and like I said, I could say yes to the entire lyrics and all of them being good. But that one, as far as all of the lyrics go, for some reason that just stood out to me. The little cracks they escalated, and before we knew it, it was too late for making circles and telling lies, because it's life. I mean, maybe we're not intentionally doing it, but Fred and I have gone through some issues ourselves, and that's what we tell ourselves. I think we hide those cracks, or we ignore those cracks, and I don't know. It hit. I mean, I might get a little emotional here, but I just think that's why I said it's life, and I think everybody. It may not be like devastating lies that you've told. It might just be little things, but it's life, and I love that, and that just stood out to me. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna go behind the scenes for a second.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, all right, what about you? Any other ones you want to point out? There's plenty to go from, but let's hear what else you have.
Well, it's going to be hard to. I'm just going to single out. I hope you feel better now that it's out. What took you so long? And the truth has a habit of falling out of your mouth. Well, now that it is come, that I really just want to quote that whole song.
It's so good.
It reminds me of kind of like mistakes I've made in my youth, right? Where it's like, here he is, he's trying to, I think, be like, how do I say this? Like, I think it reminds me of a guy that's like trying to be like mature, in a breakup, but he's really not. And it's like you almost read these lyrics and it's like, I've been in that spot before when you're like trying to convince somebody to stay, and you're doing like this kind of like push pull where it's like, and it's like in doing so you're like reminding them of all the reasons they're leaving, if that makes sense. It's because you're not whatever. And the lyrics to this song really remind me that of like a deeply, a person that was, at least in this relationship, flawed and is trying to say whatever he can to make the person stay, but it's not enough because whatever it is, like he's saying, it's already gone. It's already done. So at this point, it's almost a little tantrumy, but it's almost in the same way. It's almost it is brave because it's like a real outpouring of honest emotion and like how people, human beings, feel in that. So it's kind of like like I said, the soundtrack is really interesting because like a lot of these songs are not like the fun, sexy, cool anthems that you want to like write and perform. These are like bearing your soul and like taking a chance and and making yourself vulnerable. And that's why it's nice to see movies like this get rewarded and get I don't want to say rewarded, but get like known and have people like us resonate.
Yeah, because it could have so fallen under the radar.
Yeah.
It could have just been this little niche movie from Ireland that never even made it to the United States. It was kind of people going back to Ebert and Roper, critics like that were just standing up saying, you have to see this movie, that made it so anyone saw it, because it still didn't get this gigantic release. I mean, it made a lot because its budget was tiny. I think it was like £17,000 or something like that. So we're talking a minuscule budget. So it was going to make that back probably just in Ireland. But the soundtrack probably made more money than the movie did, because I don't know anyone who saw that movie and didn't go rush and buy that soundtrack.
Same. And that's one of the things I keep going. We keep going back to that, that analogy of the Martin Scorsese or Kevin Smith or whatever we use and stuff. And like, that's why this movie is so, I think why it's so effective and why we're still here is because if you're going to sit around and be like, okay, I'm going to make an indie musical in Ireland and stuff, like, I'm sure the temptation is to do cool, fun, catchy, almost rock anthemic songs and stuff like that. And they went the other direction. They went like personal and soul bearing and all that. And that's why this movie resonates, and somebody else that tried something similar didn't, is because, to quote another Oscar winner, an unconventional Oscar winner, Bong Joon-ho, when he won his Oscar, he talked about how going personal is always better. And
I think that's why A Star Is Born works so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In any iteration that you watch it in, it's personal to Barbra Streisand or to Lady Gaga and Cooper. I think, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, even what's her name too? Dorothy.
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. Yes,
I'm sorry. I was just
No, you're right. Yeah, all of them were. I think that's why it doesn't matter which iteration you're watching, you love every one of them. Mm-hmm. At least again, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it works every time.
Yeah, and that was the interesting thing too about unfortunately we were talking earlier, seeing the Dolly Parton passed and stuff. Like I knew a little bit about Dolly Parton and stuff too, but getting bombarded with all this content about her and stuff, like, man, I had no idea how awesome she was, and she's so wonderful and charming. And she was talking about how when Whitney Houston took and I'll always love you. And she was just like, and now it's our song. I think of it like she was just so whatever and like cool
not
about
so
it.
Pretentious, and like Prince with Nothing Compares to You. Go full douche on poor Sinead O'Connor.
Go read what she wrote to Eminem. If you can find what she wrote to Eminem, that tells. I mean, you nailed what kind of person she was, but that really tells you the kind of person.
And she seems awesome. And I just had such a small snippet. I had like Steel Magnolias and a few other things here and there. And like, she
9
seems
to
awesome.
5. I remember that one.
I remember that. She's got some zippy ones in that. I like that.
For a bright, shining moment yesterday, the entire world was in solidarity with losing.
You're not going to hear anyone like, she's, no one's talking shit. And with any actor, people can find something negative to throw at them, and no one was doing that with Dolly.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. All right, so let's see. I was going to actually go for some of Markéta's lyrics because we've kind of left those alone. But in If You Want Me, it opens up, "Are you really here or am I dreaming? I can't tell dreams from truth, for it's been so long since I've seen you. I can hardly remember your face anymore." And that one,
there's my notes right there on that one.
It hits me in a different place right now when I'm thinking about losing my uncle and just, oh my gosh, like you can't remember their face and you don't want to forget the face of a person. So that one, it's like certain ones, like the whole damn Phoebe Bridgers album last week was just with me because it was all just the loss of her father, and I'm just dealing with my own, and it hit me in a way where this one, I hear it and it's like, even though it's about a lover, the opening just hits you in a different way because you don't want to forget the face of the people that you lose. And she lost a lover, but you can't see his face anymore. So that one, props to Markéta and her 17-year-old self that wrote those damn lyrics, because
she wrote that one.
She wrote that. Yeah,
She wrote that. Yeah,
those are the songs she sings were written by her. So it's amazing to think like Glen helped with some of the musical parts of it, but the lyrics were written by her, and it's like that is a 17-year-old with so much depth of soul.
Yeah,
like, I could try my whole life and not write lyrics like that. And here she is 17, and all the lyrics she writes in this movie are just amazing, especially when you think some of them were written when she was 16, because the first Swell Season album was written when she was 16 into 17. So it's just a crazy thought. And she was the youngest non-actor to ever win an Academy Award when she won it for the Falling Slowly.
Right. Wow. I had the second verse of that.
Okay.
I had that again. Yeah. Are you really sure that you believe me when others say I lie? I wonder if you could ever despise me. I really try to be a better one to satisfy you, for you're everything to me. And I do what you ask me if you let me be free. I love that. Even the lyrics you wrote, that is a beautiful, that is very, very beautiful song. And like you said, it just hits you. The entire album hits me, but
it's like we're giving the love to Glen, and rightfully so. But I'm like, we got to call out Markéta because her lyrics are really good as well.
That was on. That's on my note. The notes that I had next. If we put, if you want me, is a great.
Yeah, I love that song too. That was always her moment. Like when you'd see the Swell Season where she gets to shine. It's like, all right, it's Markéta's turn, and Glen's going to be the one throwing in the backing vocals, where it kind of flips the script of how their show goes for 90% of it, where 90% of it is Glen singing the song, Markéta backing him up, and she just sits on a big grand piano the whole show, and it's amazing. But that's her moment where Glen just gets to be the backing vocals man, and he still brings it when he does that. But any other lyrics for you, Fred, that you want to point out? Because we could go on all night and just be like, all right, let's just cover every song. But is there any other ones, because we don't want to leave out something that really resonates?
No, I think you guys got the last one. Oh my God, we just talked about it. Markéta's song.
If You Love Me.
If You Love Me.
Oh yeah.
I actually was hoping that we were gonna when we were gonna go over like our least favorite songs, I was gonna go over that one and give it not like just some amends, because it's because I have the soundtrack on my iPod. It's whenever that one comes up, and I'm out driving and stuff, like I never really listen to it all the way through. I'm always like, you're never in the mood for that, when you're on a drive and stuff. And going back and watching the movie yesterday and seeing the way she performed it, and it I owe that song a sincere apology. It's way better than I have been treating it the last 10 years. So I apologize. It's a great song. It really is.
It is. It's worthy of the soundtrack, which is saying something, because there's one song that they didn't perform on the soundtrack, and I like that one even, but that one is by, what is the name of the band? Because it's not them. It is the Gold. Yeah. That one is by Interference. Yeah. So that's because originally that was their plan, to get all of these big Irish bands, and Interference is the only one that managed to make it to the soundtrack. They do, when you watch the movie, you'll see they have a few of the Irish musicians get a little moment to shine, but Interference is Gold, and by Interference is the only one that actually made the soundtrack that's not sung. Glen Hansard gives backing vocals on it, but it's not his song. And they would close a lot of their shows with this particular song. So I think it's something he loved it, even though it wasn't his. So that's a good one. So I guess shout out to Interference for a good song, but honestly, like kind of Fred says, it's not the one I go to when I'm going to the soundtrack, but it's still a good song. And then I just love. I'm going to throw one more lyric. It's not the biggest one, but just Hear the Sirens Call Me Home. It's just, I love that. I love the imagery that it creates. And it kind of reminds me of They're There by Radiohead, where there's always a siren singing you to shipwreck. I love that. I love when they throw that mythology into the songs, and Hear the Sirens Call Me Home. It's just, I love it. And it's just a perfect way to kind of close that song out. So yeah, even though it's a small lyric, I do love it. And yeah, we could be here for the next 2 hours and just be like, we're gonna dissect every lyric of every song, because there's not a lot of bad lyrics on this album.
One day we will do that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, tune into the director's cut for 4 hours. All right, so any skips on this one? So Dash, you skipping any songs?
No.
All right, what about you, Fred?
No.
Yeah, the closest I would get would be "Fallen from the Sky," and I think I would love to hear. I like the lyrics. I just think I would have liked to hear a version without the little Casio keyboard in it.
I hate
the bossa nova.
I don't like the execution of the song. I feel like if it had been brought into a piano and acoustic song like most of the songs on the album are, I think it could have been stronger. I think in its current form, it's just it's mid. On an album that's just top notch the whole way through, it just kind of sits without, it doesn't move me. And I guess so much of the album does move me that this one, I'm not going to skip it. I just want it re-recorded.
You know what it reminds me of? I just got an image in my head. It came to me. Remember, you've seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, right?
Of course, yes.
You know the Jell-O mold with cat food on top?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Like if they just took the cat food out, which would be like the bossa nova track, you're like, it's probably edible and probably pretty good, but they just have this one element that makes the whole thing weird, and it just doesn't work that way because of it.
Every time that song comes on now, I am going to see cat food Jell-O.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's the best one. All right, the couch metaphor of the day. You win.
That is
because I was lacking it, but yeah, that works because it's like you don't entirely hate it, but yeah, there you go. It just needs get the cat food off, and we got a good song hiding in there somewhere.
That's great.
But yeah, the little Casio keyboard, even in the movie, I'm like, it's not winning for me.
Yeah.
It's so yeah. I think this is the easiest category. We keeping it, returning it to the used bin.
Oh,
I think keep it.
Keeping it. There is no doubt in my mind.
Had it for 20 years. This is going to be with me till I die. This movie, the song, the soundtrack.
Now I'm going to go hit up every vinyl. I'm going to go hit up every CD, every cassette I can find. Hell, he's even got 8 tracks. I'm going to go find.
I will say,
8 tracks.
Seek out the rest of his catalog. It won't disappoint you. Start with the one that predates this, which has several of the songs. Lies is on the first Swell Season album. Falling Slowly's on it. I think about 4 or 5 of the tracks are overlaps. They were pre-done.
Okay.
So yeah, it's well worth it. And then yeah, you might find there's some of the albums are not skip proof. Some of them will have some skip songs, but you're not going to find one album that you think, oh, this one's just a dud. Even the Frame stuff, it's raw. It's more raw in the beginning, but yeah, it's a great catalog, well worth exploring. So I'm keeping this, like all of them. It's sitting behind me, and it'll be, in my. It's hard to like. How do I alphabetize it? So I just throw it all under Swell Season. So even the Glen Hansard solo stuff goes in there because I don't want to have to think that hard when I'm searching for an album.
Even looking, I've been looking at the album cover behind you the entire time, and it's like, even you look at the album cover, and it's like, how do you not like that? It's just like two nice people, like a nice thin, non-threatening font. There's not even a capital letter. Like there's nothing that could offend you at all. Like it's just such a nice piece of art, and I really like it for that.
It feels like it should be a 90s movie though, because they're walking down a street, or they're you know what I mean? Because like every
a 90s holiday movie,
like every 90s song and holiday movie, there was just the street scene. So
in
the 80s they were lying down on their sides with their hands under their arm, but in the 90s they were walking down streets for whatever reason.
He does a good job with that too. Sing Street is about it's like guys doing like an 80s style band, and he does a really good job with that too. Like he's a great voice. I like his stuff. I can't wait to see this rock ballad when it becomes rentable.
I'm ready for it. Yeah. I'm hoping it's ready soon. All right. So next week I will not be on. So next week we will not be broadcasting. I will be gone actually I won't be here Saturday because we're celebrating my wife's birthday, my wife and daughter, who are 2 days apart. So yeah, we're going to be celebrating their birthday in Disneyland. So we'll be gone on Saturday. and then the following Wednesday gone. But then the following Saturday, I'll give you a walkthrough of the Tucson Comic-Con. And then in 2 weeks, what are we coming with? It is not Madonna.
No.
It's Alabama Shakes.
Alabama Shakes.
So the new Alabama Shakes album. I am excited. The last one, Dash and I both loved it. So we are ready for their first new material in a long time. So it should be good. I'm ready. I've snuck and listened to a few of the songs they dropped on Spotify, and I'm ready. I actually pre-ordered the vinyl and was lucky enough to get on their website right when they dropped it. So I got the signed one where it's triple signed by the band. And I love that they did it, and it's not even an upcharge. So if you were one of the fastest fingers to get it, you get the signed one for $35, just like the price of the regular one. And yeah, I mean, that when a band does that, because they could charge $100 and people would still spend it. And fortunately, they didn't. So I got it. It should be here in time, and it'll be sitting behind me, and it'll move. I guess I'll have to shuffle everything because we got all the stuff we've covered besides Twilight, which I did not buy. And won't be spending the money. I let Spotify be my purchase on that one. But yeah, we got Phoebe Bridgers once, then we got Maisie, Jack White, and then I guess it'll be Modest Mouse and Death Cab. One of them will get bumped off and everything will shuffle down. So we'll have, as long as I buy it, I don't know if I'm going to buy the Madonna one. I'll ask my wife. She probably
Which Madonna one is it? Is it a new one?
Confessions 2. It'll be this one.
Yeah.
And we will have.
When did that come out?
It's been a few weeks. We've been wanting to cover it for a while, but we're trying to get everyone aligned for it. And we have Amber, who's our resident pop music expert, to tell Dash why he's wrong.
Yeah, she's gonna.
Our Swiftie.
When, if you don't mind me asking, when was the last Madonna album before this? Like, how long ago has it been?
It's been probably like 5 or 6 years.
5 years, at least 5 years since.
I'll know when I do my research because I haven't
that one good?
Fully researched it.
Is she still banging out good songs? Like, I'm just curious. I haven't.
Now my wife's the huge Madonna fan in the house, and she did enjoy it. And she went. I was able to grab her a ticket because she was playing small rooms for that tour. So she did. It might have been it might be closer to 10 years because then she did kind of her greatest hits tour where there was no new album to promote. It was more just she was going to play all the hits. So she did small rooms. She did places that held about 1,000 for the last album. And yeah, my wife said, especially after seeing them perform live, she really loved the album. So
it's 2019.
Okay.
Madam X was 2019.
Yeah. That was it. That was the tour I got her tickets for because you had to go in like this. You had to go into like a special lottery to get tickets. And she started these shows at like 10 at night. So when they changed the time from 8 to 10, a bunch of the old folks were like, I can't stay up that late. And they threw tickets back. So I was able to snatch her up a single. And she loved it. She said it was really good. And then like, after that, she did the whole greatest hits one. So yeah, it's 2019. So right before COVID. So yeah, I didn't play it. My wife got it because it was one of those ones. If you bought the ticket, you got a CD sent to you as well. So we have it. I never played it. This will be the first Madonna album I have played in a long time. So this will be
the first Madonna album I've listened all the way through since Material Girl.
Yeah, same. Like that one, I played from 84, and then I've played kind of the hits of the albums, Bedtime Stories, and April will be playing them, so I know a lot of the songs, but this is going to be the first one I sit down, and I'm guessing we're going to buy it and play it and listen, and hopefully
I know a lot of her songs.
Yeah.
To fully sit down and listen to a full album front to back.
I like a lot of her popular songs, and she's somebody too that benefited from a lot of awesome songs tied to awesome soundtracks, over the years. Like she had a lot of really good movie tie-ins, like whether it was A League of Their Own or With Honors or
Vision Quest, baby. Vision Quest.
That was the other one that was just on my mind that I couldn't remember. I was about to mention that the other day because we were talking about Linda Fiorentino, and I should have.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so I make my heart beat, Linda.
I need to get my research
I love
going.
That movie.
But my research for Alabama Shakes is going to be very easy because we've already covered one of their albums. All I got to do is add the new album. But Madonna, I've been listening to this. It's a 9-hour podcast about her full history. and I've listened to the first 3 hours, which is her early history. So those notes I have, but as far as like the new album notes, I don't have that yet. But yeah, crazy history. Like she was big in the New York scene in the early 80s, and they thought she was like a lot of people thought she was Puerto Rican or something because they wouldn't put her images on the album because they didn't want people to know that she was white. And she also performed with a lot of the New York.
Was her audience like, you know, more ethnic or what?
Yes, her audience was more ethnic, and they didn't want people to know, so they would do covers without her. And it wasn't until her first video that a lot of people saw.
It wasn't until Borderline. When Borderline came out was the first time anybody had ever seen what Madonna looked like.
Because she didn't know any of that. Pretty vague. And then she played shows and stuff, so people could have seen her at that. But she was also big in the kind of punk and underground scene, like the CBGB scene, and did record songs with members of Sonic Youth. So kind of interesting early stuff with that. Bringing Sonic Youth back in.
Sonic Youth and her are all about the same age anyways, aren't they?
Yeah, they were all in that early scene that was going on. So there's songs, I think they've been released now with her, and I don't know what members of Sonic Youth, but yeah, it's kind of interesting early history. And now I'm gonna listen to the last 3 hours. I'll leave the middle out. Like, all right, she released a bunch of albums. That'll be my middle of Madonna. Because honestly, if there's a 9-hour podcast, we don't have 9 hours. I gotta keep my intro to like 30 minutes, and you know that's gonna be a lot of condensing. But yeah, it was really fascinating. I was just like, not knowing that much about Madonna, it was a really interesting listen to find out her deep history. So in a couple weeks, we'll be here with Amber digging into the new Madonna, and yeah, should be fun. So yeah, next week, I guess, 2 weeks from now, we'll be here with the new Alabama Shakes, and fingers crossed that it does not let us down. But I feel confident. They're a good enough band, and I trust Brittany Howard is not going to fail us. So yeah, until then, have a great rest of your week. Bye, and everybody. We will see you.
No, hold up. 9/16, we do have Madonna.
9/16 is Madonna. Okay.
Yeah, 9/16 is Madonna.
So what is that?
Alabama Shakes is after.
Okay, so it is Confessions Part 2. So I need to get on my research. Although I'm driving out to Tucson, I have plenty of time to listen to all 9 hours. So yes, I will do that. So it's 9/16 is Madonna, because there's not one. There's none on 9/2. Oh, so 9/9. It is that. So yeah, Alabama Shakes is in 2 weeks, because there's not one on the 2nd, but we're here on the 9th.
So Alabama Shakes is the 9th?
9th is Alabama Shakes. 16th is Madonna.
So we need a 9/23.
From there, I don't know. I'm reaching out to a couple bands. Hopefully one of them says yes. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll let you know when we know. All right. So have a great rest of your week. We will see you soon.
See you. Oh, I love that scene.